Hey everyone, my name is Sal, and I've been traveling for a few years now, but I've also been collecting retro video games along the way. So I thought, why not merge the two and document everything along the way? I've had tons of great scores in the past, so I guess you can say I'm just trying to chase that retro treasure again. So join me as I hunt for video games at flea markets, video game stores, and street vendors all over the world. This is Retro Finds Worldwide, Tijuana, Mexico. Hey guys, today's travels bring me to Tijuana, Mexico. It's the border city directly south of San Diego, and I spend a lot of time here. So we're gonna visit some sobre ruedas, which is flea markets. So we're here the whole week. So our first stop is Monday, and we're in Blas de Tijuana. That's west, right by the beach of the border of Tijuana and San Diego. It's a little beach town. It's called Blas de Tijuana, and the sobre ruedas here. Sobre ruedas translates into over wheels, which means they pick up and go to the next town every day. Every day there's a sobre ruedas here, and they set up basically on the street. They take over the whole little colonia or little town, and it's pretty fun to go to them every day. This one right here is right on the street on the main drag of Playas. It's what they call the city here, and I've always found some good stuff. So hopefully we find some this time. As you can see, the traffic still passes through. They just kind of set up around it. So over here you'll find anything and everything from food, clothes, new and old, electronics, tools. It's pretty awesome to see this atmosphere. Just everybody just kind of selling whatever they can. Mostly secondhand stuff, and it's just people walking around trying to get the best deal. As you can see here, there's a bunch of traffic, so you just kind of walk around the cars and kind of do your own thing. Now this one is the only one that operates on Monday, so it's about 2 to 3 miles long, so it gets pretty good. I've gotten pretty lucky here in the past. Here's a table with some stuff. Let's see what we got. We have the usuals: Ninja Turtles, Wizards and Warriors 2. What is it? Iron Sword. Got some Sega games, Super Nintendo games. Here I see Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver for PS1. Over here some N64 games. Take a look at it's the collector's edition of Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver for PS1. So I think I'm gonna take that. It's a good one. I remember that game from a long time ago. I asked her how much. She says $5 or 100 pesos, which is 100 pesos. It's about $5.50, $6, something like that. A lot of toys here at Tijuana. Big toy scene, huge toy scene. A lot of old school He-Man stuff. They're really big on that. They're really big on Thundercats, G.I. Joe. Really big on Star Wars. So if you're a toy collector, this is the place you want to look for toys, because a lot of collectors down here from Baja California, Rosarito, Ensenada. They come up to Tijuana and they sell here at the flea markets, and they have toy conventions every few months. So it's pretty cool down here. If you've never been to Tijuana, I highly recommend it. Forget everything you heard about Tijuana and its dangerous zones and all that. It's got its dangerous zones, but you know what? So does Oakland, so does Camden, so does Dallas, everywhere else in the US, in the world. Everywhere's gonna have its dangerous zone, but you know what? As long as you use common sense and common caution, you should be all right. Now, as far as gaming is concerned, there's a big gaming scene here, but they have that thing too where they reproduce labels on Super Nintendo and especially N64 games, and they place them on top of an old label and they sell it like that. They're more concerned here about actually playing the game and, you know, that it works, and then, you know, actually collecting it in its pristine condition, how it originally was. So you're gonna find a lot of that. You just be careful down here with fake labels, fake games. But you should be all right because everybody's pretty honest down here. They'll actually tell you that it's, you know, a repro or a fake label or whatever it may be. Not like other places I've been to, like in Lima, Peru, where, you know, they try to pass it off as an original, or, you know, any Ecuador was another place that did the same thing. So you should be all right. Here's RC Pro Am. I see the Frogger plug and play, TV plug and play. I see a Tetris TV plug and play. And then I see the quote unquote rare Miss Pac-Man 5-in-1 plug and play. Looks pretty good, no battery cover. Asked the guy how much. He was asking $10. I got him down to $8. And I grabbed that. So I'm now the proud owner of a Miss Pac-Man plug and play. So that's it for today. I think we're going to move on to the next flea market. All right, so it's Wednesday. We skipped Tuesday. We took a day off. So Wednesday morning, we're here in Colonia Aleman. It's about a 10-minute taxi ride from downtown Tijuana. It's right there in the red. And it's about a $5 ride. So this is a little smaller. It takes over the whole Colonia, the whole little town, but it's only about four or five blocks radius, and then it goes to another block. So it's, you know, it's about 8 blocks total. It's not too big, not too small, but we'll see what we find here. And there's a lot more food here, which you can see. A lot more fruit vendors. A lot of people come here to get to do their shopping, their grocery shopping for food and whatnot, because it is cheaper. And there's a lot of hot food, a lot of street food vendors, which is always a good thing in my book. Here we have some comic books. Don't know much about comic books, but these look too new for me. Not really sure what half of these are, besides Batman and Transformers. So I'm just looking through them just in case I see anything I know, but I passed. And here are some Pez dispensers. I've gotten into Pez dispensers recently, and I'm gonna take this whole bucket here. I'm gonna see what's in here. Looks like 1980s stuff. Looks like they all have the feet, but it's, you know, Disney and Flintstones, some Garfield, Mickey and Minnie, of course. I see some Marvel stuff, Kermit the Frog, Yosemite Sam, Snoopy, Jack in the Box. So it's a good little lot. I'm gonna guess there's about 40 of them in here. And I take this over to the nice little lady that's selling here. And I asked her how much. She told me $1 each, which in pesos is like, you know, 170. Sorry, 17. But I ended up negotiating down to about 80 cents per Pez. So I took that whole lot. I took it was 36 of them. But, you know, we'll go through them later. I know there were some good ones in there. So over here there are some electronics. So let's take a look at this table. I see the little Sony TV, black and white TV thing, radio. Pretty cool. Don't know much about it. And then he's got a bunch of wires and cables and LCD game, Little Mermaid LCD game with the battery cover, which is rare. You never see them with the battery covers on. And he wanted 50 pesos, which is about $2.80. I said I'll give him 40 pesos, which is about $2, $2.25, something like that. He said no. I don't know. I just didn't feel like taking it, so I passed on it. There's some chickens. And like I said, this is a small flea market, so really didn't find much here except for the Pez. So we're going to keep walking a little bit, but I guess that's it. So we're going to move on to Thursday. All right, so it's Thursday, and we're going to start here with a reseller. Obviously, a reseller with the glass case and organized games and everything priced. But we're going to take a look anyway because you never know. Yes, there are resellers here in Mexico. By the way, we're in Salvatierra, which is a little town south of Tijuana, still in Tijuana, but little south. It's about a 20 to 25-minute drive. This is the farthest one I've been to, but it's still pretty cool. Bigger than the one on Tuesday. So here's a bunch of NES games. I see all the basic stuff, nothing too crazy. A lot of messed up labels. Nothing worth even looking at here. All these labels are busted on these Sega games. Won't even look there. Obviously, all the expensive ones are in the little glass case. Star Tropic, Super C, Metroid, Mega Man 2. Is that? Nothing crazy. Didn't even ask for prices. Don't care. Here we have a bin of a bunch of games. Won't even look. I don't do Xbox or PS2 or anything like that. So once in a while I'll look through those, but for the most part, not really interested. Here's another table with some sports titles. Here's a GameCube in the back. You wanted $10 for it, and that's that. This is a little more deep into Tijuana, so you're gonna find a lot of stuff for cheap. As you can see, I've already found 4 tables with video game stuff, as opposed to the other 2, where I barely found anything. So a lot of toys here also. There's that Dick Tracy, the old Dick Tracy toys. Those are great. I used to have all of those. Here's a dirt road portion of the flea market here in Salvatierra. It's got that the gaming keyboard, which is pretty cool. And it has a case with video games in it. And then he has some more video games here. He's got the usuals. All the usual stuff, not worth mentioning. He does have some cool old Mario dolls though. Looks like mid 90s to like 2002 dolls. They're pretty faded, so I didn't even bother. Pretty cool table setup though. This guy on the left here has an amazing mess, which I love. So on this table, I see a few games. I see Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link. I see Tiger Heli. I see Double Dribble and TNC Surf and Life Force. Life Force is a pretty cool game, but I'm gonna end up taking Tiger Heli and Adventure of Link, Zelda 2, because those 2 are always good for trades and whatnot. So, and the gold cartridge is in great shape. I ended up taking both games for 250 pesos, which is about $15, which is a great price. After a little bit of haggling, of course. Make sure you always haggle when you're down here in Tijuana. He also had some consoles back here. He had some Xbox games. He had some PS2, PS3. You know, good little stand there. And continuing on our dirt road here, see a guy with just a blanket on the floor, bunch of consoles, bunch of games, very dirty labels, like ripped and messed up. Those 2 silver GameCubes were not working. I see an N64 with a bunch of stickers on it, so I just passed on that. tempting, tempting to take the two game cubes and make it a project, but I'll pass on that. And continuing down here, you just see a lot of clothes, and here's another blanket on the floor with some stuff. And usual NES games, some busted up N64 games. Nothing crazy. Yeah, your typical Mario Duck Hunt, track meet, and double dribble, bases loaded. It's time for another pineapple juice. These natural, fresh juices are great. They're only like 10 pesos or 15 pesos, which is like less than $1. So why not? I think that's it for this flea market. A lot of great selection of games, but better selection of tacos. So one thing about Tijuana is if you don't find games or what you're looking for, you'll always find tacos. And here are mine. All right, so it's Saturday, guys, and here we are in the Zona Norte, which translates to North Zone. It's the infamous red light district of Tijuana. It's a little bit more dangerous than the other areas we visited, so my camera will be a little shaky. As you can see here, the Zona Norte is right by the border. Like I said, my camera is going to be a little shakier because I'm holding it a different way to hide it a little better. And the reason for that is I'm using extra caution. I'm just making sure that I don't get mugged, robbed, etc. I've heard a lot of stories about this particular flea market, but you know what? It's not going to stop me from showing you guys my travels. So here's a little reseller. He's got a bunch of stuff. Very organized game wall in the back. Not sure how he erected that in a few hours, but it looks pretty cool. It had some good prices, but nothing I was looking for. Bunch of games here, a bunch of toys, and like I said, the camera's going to be a little wobbly because it's very close quarters here, and just using common sense, using a little bit of more caution. Like I said, it's the infamous red zone, red light district, and not supposed to be taking pictures, I believe, here or video. I've gotten yelled at from police in the past, so I'm just making sure. But here we are, the same setup, side of the street. Traffic keeps going in the middle. A lot of stuff for sale here. Here, since we're close to the border, you'll hear more English-speaking Mexicans and whatnot. So this particular flea market is where I found the Samsung GX TV, the gaming TV. I found it for $12. So it can happen where I can find something really great here. This vendor has a lot of good stuff. He has some NES games, which is all the usual stuff. Some PS3 stuff, some Wii games. And over here he has for the N64. I just pick it up right now. He has Majora's Mask, little chip in the back of the cart. And I ask how much. He says he wants 500 pesos, which is about $28. I offer him 400 pesos, which is about $20. He said no, so goodbye. Here's an obvious reseller. That's it for that. I'm not even going to go in. Over here is a lot of great food, a lot of great tacos, enchiladas, tortas. If you're into Mexican food, this is the place. It's a really quick cross from the border. I really recommend that you guys come and check out all these flea markets because there's a lot of great food, a lot of great cultural stuff, and you will not regret it. So walking along here, you can see that they've created these little alleyways between tents so people can shop. And then at the side streets, you'll get these wider traffic filled tents to each side. This lady's giving haircuts here. Haircuts are 30 pesos, which is about $2, less than $2. And then over here, this is the end of this side street. But I wanted to show you guys at the far end there. You see at the far end over there, that's the border wall that separates the U.S. San Diego from Tijuana. It's actually San Isidro, California, from Tijuana. So you can see how close I am to the border here, and how close this flea market is to the border, which is pretty interesting. It's very interesting to me how the whole border situation works. So here's another little setup. Guy just put a blanket down. He has some Nintendo games, some SNES. I see he has an N64 console. Looks pretty good. So I picked up from him Echo the Dolphin and Flashback for Sega Genesis. This is pretty good prices. He gave them to me for $2.50 each, 2 for $5. Here's another vendor. He's got some Pokemon games. He has a few PS3, the usual stuff. What I did see on the right side of the table here is he has some NES. So I looked through it and I see that he has some games I don't usually see, including Kid Icarus. So I did pick up Kid Icarus from him. I think that was $8. Great title, great game. And then nothing else of interest here for me, but he did show me the Pokemon games he had for the Game Boy Advance, the green and the red. So I inquired about those, and he had the red in his pocket because he had the real version of that, of the Ruby, and then the green he had on the table because it was a repro. He told me it was a repro. And then he just proceeds to show me about the batteries and how to tell if it's a repro or not. So great group of guys, nice guys, very friendly, showing me how to tell the difference between a fake and a real game, and great prices. And as far as the Zona Norte sobre ruedas, that's it. We're into Sunday. And Sunday, we took a 10-minute taxi drive down to the Otay region of Tijuana. That's right here on the map. It's a little bit east of the airport, Tijuana Airport. So if you're gonna come just to this one, it's recommended you take the Otay Mesa border crossing from San Diego instead of the San Isidro. So it's two different border crossings, and yeah. The first table we see here has a bunch of faded label, messed up label games. I do see one Game Gear game, which is apparently what I'm into now, since I keep finding them. It's Addams Family. I'm going to pick up Addams Family. Yep, it is Addams Family. Ask him how much. He said 40 pesos, which is about $2.30, something like that. He also had some good stuff here. He had Lethal Enforcers for Sega. Which had the manual, which is pretty cool to see. Been a while since I've seen that game. And then he had some other Super Nintendo titles. He wanted $10 for Lethal Enforcers. A lot of box Sega stuff, and this one said Yoshi's Island, the one I'm opening, but it turned out to be some other game. It would have been nice to have that. But yeah, good table here. He had this game right here. Thunder Spirit. Never played that one. That was $5. But I only ended up grabbing the Addams Family for Game Gear. So over here in the Otay, is it Otay or Otay? Otay region of Tijuana. This is the Sobre Ruedas Tecnológico. The reason they call it technological flea market is because it's in the Technological Institute section of Otay in Tijuana. So they just call it by whatever area is around. So this one was actually huge. It was actually a maze. It took me a while to get my bearings, and I got lost. And I tried to hit every aisle, but I'm sure I didn't hit every aisle on this one because it was way big. It's the biggest flea market I've probably ever been to. As you can see, you have to cross the street to continue it. You have to cross the main road to continue it. So, but surprisingly, all the same stuff. Not the same vendors, but all the same stuff. You know, the usual stuff you always see. The N64 consoles and the same sports titles and PS3 stuff. At this point, I'm looking for, stuff I don't usually see. Here's a nice reseller. Surprisingly, he had some good titles. Didn't even ask the prices though, because I usually don't try not to buy from resellers. As you can see, he has some good NES titles. But since we're in this region of Tijuana, right next to the border, you will see a bunch of American vendors coming down to sell here. So here's some Game Boy games. Kirby's Adventure. I see a Bomberman game, and Legend of Zelda DX. That's a good one. I ended up picking that one up for $15. That's it. There was a lot of people at this one because it is Sunday, and a lot of street food vendors and fruit vendors, so everybody's out to do their shopping for the week. But overall, been an amazing time in Tijuana. Highly recommend it. I think that if you have any doubts of coming to Tijuana, do your research and come on down, because it's great down here. The atmosphere is great, the sales are great, the prices are great, food and the people are amazing. Everybody has a story, everybody's humble, everybody's super nice. I highly recommend it, and you'll find some great stuff at these flea markets, even if it's not video games. There's always something you end up buying. So let's see what we found, guys. All right, so we have the Namco 5-in-1 Miss Pac-Man plug-and-play TV game. Got that for $8 over at the first flea market, the Playas de Tijuana. And as you can see, it's very clean and tested and works. And then at the same flea market, we have PS1 Soul Reaver Legacy of Kain, $5. On Wednesday, over at the Aleman flea market, we got the bag of Pez, 36 Pez. A lot of great ones. My favorite is the Wonder Woman one. It's in there somewhere. And the Jack in the Box, of course. That's 80 cents each. There it is. That's pretty cool. So that's a good price for these. Love me some Pez. On Thursday at the Salvatierra flea market, we got two games. Zelda 2, Adventure of Link, and Tiger Heli. $15 for both. Both in great condition, both tested, both work. On Saturday at the Zona Norte flea market, the North Zone, we got $5 for both Sega games, Flashback and Echo the Dolphin, and $8 for Kid Icarus. Great condition. That's a great game also. And then lastly, on Sunday at the Otay Tecnológico flea market, I got Adam's Family for Game Gear for $2.50. And then I have the Legend of Zelda DX for Game Boy. I got that for $15. That's a great price. So those are my finds, everyone. I hope you had a great time watching, and I'll see you next time, whether it's this country or another. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you like this picture of two delicious tacos, please click below and subscribe.